And so, in your opinion, and so to turn it a little bit more outward facing away from the university, um, is there one or two, or is there like a pressing economic issue that you think that maybe the government or the world should try to focus on?
Well, I'm focusing on two interesting issues, which I'm not sure I will be able to resolve this. But I'm going to keep on trying. One issue is student financial aid. The way our system is working, and I'm not an expert in this area, so this is just a thought process. And I'd like my students to start thinking of problems like this. When we started providing financial aid and grants and loans to students, especially those who are coming from poor economic backgrounds, idea was to make them better off, not worse off.
Yes.
To provide them access to higher education, they graduate, they get better jobs, and life is better off. Their families will be better off. But think about the scenario. What have we done? Lots of our students, besides getting grants, gets lots of loans.
Yes, that's true.
Many of them don't even graduate. So guess what we have done? We have made them worse off than better off, because they have no degrees and they have these massive loans.
Right. The debt and without the degree,
for the rest of their life.
Yeah. The increase in income is not that much to just have 1 to 2 years of a bachelor's degree.
That's right.
Right.
So the question really becomes here is, can we come up with a better system than what we have with the same objective of helping these individuals? So there's a proposal forwarded by Senator, I forget his name now, presidential candidate back in 4 years ago, Bernie Sanders. Senator Sanders, about providing free education for college.
Yeah.
I don't like his proposal, but I like some ideas. So what I want to work on is, what if we were to come up with a proposal of supporting these people who are coming from poor economic backgrounds for 1 year at a time?
Oh, yeah.
No loans.
Right.
We provide them free education for 1 year at a state public institution. They will have to go to within the state institutions so that we can lower the cost of education. So everyone pays institution. And if they don't perform well, they're out.
Right. There would be some incentives there in terms of
the
performance.
Incentive, you do well, you get second year free. You do well, you get third year free. You do well, you get fourth year free. But regardless of where you are, if you were to drop out, you have no loans.
Oh, yes. Yeah, that lowers the risk.
So the idea would be to provide them some carrots and sticks, so to speak.
Yes.
Sticks meaning you don't do well, you're done. We are not supporting you anymore. Carrots in a sense, the incentive. You do well, we provide you 1 more year of college.
To continue on. That's true.
So one of the things I want to do is to figure out what the cost of this program would be, as opposed to the cost of the program which we have.
Oh, yes. I could see that. The cost versus the benefits to society.
Yeah.
I mean, and just in general, I don't know that we've mentioned, but as a Dragas Center for Economic Analysis and Policy, this sounds like a project that might be of interest there, because it's a lot of applied.
So we shall see what happens.
Yes, of course. I like that. And I think it's very important, just because I've read some articles that talk about social, like economic and social mobility, the ability to move up in social class across generations.
That's right.
This has declined in the past like 30 to 40 years in the United States, more broadly in Western countries, but in the United States in particular. And this is a real concern for like the American dream, quote unquote. And
No, we have a dream, but the question is, if we do provide incentive to someone to go seek higher education,
Mm-hmm.
we provide resources. But once they get into the loan habits,
Oh, absolutely.
that's the problem.
Right. Yeah, I mean, it's just I mean, you do have that marginal increase in income once you get the degree, but then you've got the problem of trying to dig out.
That's right.
Um, and so I might use that as I think about it, as a segue. Well, I don't know that would be your advice
That's right.
as far as loans and that goes as far as college. But if you had some advice for students who are considering a degree in economics or college education in general, what do you think that might be?
I would, especially if you are going to college and you are in the business world. First of all, I think most of the students should be looking for specializing in fields where there are plenty of opportunity, especially for those who are coming from low-income backgrounds. And if you're going to major in economics or business, I think you need to learn the tools, the skills, and then to be able to apply them in the real world.
Mm.
So this is why, Jay, if you recall, we went through about 3 years ago, revamping the econ undergraduate program or the graduate program to make it more and more applied.
Right.
Because when employers hire our students, so let us say you're majored in economics, just using an example, an employer will assume you know your economics.
Right.
Because you're majored in economics.
Mm-hmm.
Now the question is, what do you bring for me? What can you do for me? And this is where I think if we have the appropriate skills, let's say econometric methods, research methods, if you have the skills, you can apply them in the real world.
Right.
And you become a very useful person for the business.
Yeah, that's true. And as someone, I mean, you and I were both involved in those meetings, right?
Yes.
Talking about applied data analysis, learning how to take data and tell a story. I think that is useful, those opportunities.
So I would like our students, especially those who are the graduate level, to start thinking of problems which they see, which they can feel, see if they can do some work on those things. Because that is how you get passionate about things.
It's true.
In the public arena, start doing some policy analysis. But really, Jay, it really depends upon who you are, what you like to do, what your objectives are.
Right.
And I would not force any student to start thinking otherwise.
That's true.
All we can do is provide them some guidance.
That's right. There are lots of paths in life. It's true.
That's right.
And so with that said, I don't want to take too much of your valuable time today, Vinod. I appreciate your sitting down and are having a little talk. Do you have any parting thoughts or anything?
No, I have been in Old Dominion for the last 44 years. I never thought I'll be here that long, but obviously I'm here. I've enjoyed my students all the time. There are always a couple of students who give you heartburns, but they all come through.
It's true.
And I think I've been, to say the least, I should say is that especially if our graduate students in economics have done quite well. I hear from them now and then. And obviously our department must have done something right.
It's true.
But it's always nice, Jay, to hear from students who have been here for 10 years ago as to what they thought of the degree program we had, thought of the education they had. Because when you're a student and you struggle, you don't necessarily like your professors.
Yeah.
But oftentimes when you leave in the real world, you say, I actually learned something from this guy.
That's true. And so that's something I'll just sort of close with that as a parting mention from me is that's part of the hope and part of our discussion when we talked about starting to have these talks and making these available through the newsletter and then like through our other social media presence was to try to reach some of our former students and then potential students and people who might be interested in the department. And so I really appreciate this.
It may be, Jay, it may
my
be a
first
good
step.
idea to see if we can get a list of our students who graduated in the recent past, and to
Mm,
see if some of them are around here. Maybe we can invite them to come to campus.
I would agree. That's one of my wish list things
Yeah.
with this as well. So, with that said, thank you, Vinod,
Thank you very
and
much.
have a good rest of the
Appreciate it.
day.